Hello. Thank you very much for putting me on tonight. UX Roundabout. Thank you, Secret Escapes. I'm Paul. I'm going to talk about designing for the wood and the trees, systematic thinking in a nutshell. I won't be talking about design systems. I'm not qualified to do that. I know somebody who is, but I am not. So I'm going to kind of cover these few bits here. I'm going to talk about gas and royalty and what we can learn from them. Sounds odd, which is why I've got an agenda, so you guys know that I'm going to go somewhere with it. Then we're going to look at the design landscape, so the ecosystem in tech for design jobs that you guys should recognise. And then communicating the wood and the trees. So looking at the holistic, user-centred design visions that you can create and communicate to people. So, quick overview of me. I'm Paul. I am a senior product designer at Receipt Bank, and I've been a designer now for 15 years across kind of graphic design and then web design, old school, and then UX and now product design. I've been mentoring in UX design for the last 4 or 5 years or so, and I've worked across agency, doing some great projects. I was the lead UX on the Bank of England website. And also in startups, which I learned a hell of a lot because I had to do everything except for develop, thank God. And then I now work at a scale-up, which is Receipt Bank. So I'm also a meetup organizer. Yes, I'm talking at a meetup. I'm going to promote my own meetup. Where are you? Sorry, mate. That's how it goes. So yes, I'm a meetup organizer of UX Isn't Just Design, It's. Go and check it out. I'm not going to go further than that. You were there. Good guys. Okay, and I'm also a frustrated 6 music DJ, which we won't get onto, but check out my Spotify playlist. Anyway, so I work at Receipt Bank, and Receipt Bank is a fintech bookkeeping app. We just secured Series C funding, which is awesome. We've actually also at the same time got voted as part of the top 100 tech companies in Europe, along with people like Monzo and Revolut and Deliveroo. So it's been a really good few months for us. And yes, fintech and bookkeeping sounds pretty dry, but actually when you get down to it, like most UX problems and looking into users, it's actually really fascinating, and it actually makes a massive difference from a really human centered perspective. So yeah, please come and talk to me about that afterwards. Anyway, gas and royalty. Yes, I'm starting there. So, what are these? And what is the connection between them? So, Gazprom is a Russian natural gas company selling to foreign countries. They sponsor European football teams and Champions League. They also sponsor the World Cup. And then we look at the royals. They attend 2,000 engagements across the world every single year. And they support public and charity sectors, as well as their own charities. So, I don't know about you, this seems all a bit strange to me. I mean, why would a natural gas company sponsor that doesn't even sell to football fans? Why would they sponsor football? And then the royal family, why do they go around the world doing all these things? Well, soft power. Yes, I'm going there. Bear with me. So soft power is the ability of other countries to attract others through culture, values, and foreign policies. And the results of stuff like this means that, Russia now supplies 40% of the gas used across the EU, which is a hell of a lot. And 40% of people outside the UK think the UK should be most proud of the royal family above everything else. That's a worldwide statistic. I like the royal family. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. I think they're cool. And the thing is that what's interesting actually is that the actual beneficiaries are the UK universities, which is the second thing. So, why is this relevant? You're probably asking. Well, soft power is the result of a globally connected society that we live in, and seemingly innocuous things can really affect the big picture. We don't all live in a bubble. And from a designer's perspective, approaching your design problems holistically means that granular decisions that you will make can make a really meaningful influence and impact on the wider system. And for me, as a product designer, it's an essential ingredient to what I do. So, there we go. big idea, big stuff. Let's take it back to the granular stuff that we probably all know and recognise. So, who's a designer here? Hands up. Okay? So who isn't a designer? Hands up, come on. Who isn't a designer? Who's a developer? If so, get out. No. No, are you, so whoever isn't a designer, what do you do, my friend?
Developer.
You're a developer. Okay, anybody else? Any PMs here? Product managers? Okay. Yeah, there's no shame, my friend, there's no shame. No, there isn't any shame. Okay, cool. Well, the thing is that with UX designer, with product designers, with service designers, the key thing that binds them all together is design thinking. And the process of design thinking, it just has different outcomes and different outputs. So, the thing is that a lot of people, a lot of junior UX designers or product designers that I speak to are very much like, what's the difference between UX and product? And that's a good question. And then servers as well, kind of all wrapped up in that. Yeah. This is how I see it. I'm going to give you my perspective on it. After doing startup world 2 job hunts in the last year, this is how I see it. So imagine you're describing design jobs to your mum and dad. And this is the design onion, by the way. I did have a gif of Nick Offerman eating an onion, but still. So it's all about spheres of influence on and from your work. So we've got UX design in the middle, okay? UX design in the middle is the granular things, the things that you're doing to make the user experience of that one thing better. And that one thing could be a whole product, it could be an actual, a feature. Then you've got product design, which is all about the ecosystem of the product itself. So Facebook, for example, you could say Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. That's a product ecosystem. So considering all of those things makes you more of a product designer, is what I would say. And then service design is the thing that all of those products and all that UX is bolstering, is really supporting. That is the soft power that then goes out to, then goes out to the company strategy or the company in general, the sector that it lives in, and then the society as a whole. And that sounds like a big leap, but it isn't. So the receipt bank design onion is like this. So I work across 3, maybe 3.5, different products at Receipt Bank. And yes, I'm tired, but it's great. Because I'm working in the product ecosystem. I'm thinking about how the whole thing connects to each other, how it all because when it comes down to it, all of the data that goes into Receipt Bank, whatever the product it is, all comes from the same place. So the ecosystem is important, but it's all supporting the service of paperwork capture, so receipt capture, and extraction of the data from it. That's what we do. We take the data from it using artificial intelligence, and then we serve it to people so they can use it in their bookkeeping. And from there, we're in Receipt Bank, which is within accounting and small businesses within the UK, US, France, Australia, South Africa, and a few other places. So it's, the way that I see it is that I'm actually having an effect on the way the Receipt Bank is actually doing, like what they're doing. It's a big company. It's the biggest company I've ever worked for, funnily enough. But it still means that I can have an effect on that. So that's my current situation. I want to tell you a little story about working for a startup that I worked for about a year or so ago. And the problems I had communicating big and small ideas all at the same time. So this is a project that I worked on for a startup called Lean.js. We were 5 strong, 5 people, and it was 4 developers and me. To be honest, I loved it. They taught me React because they did React training for developers. That's what they did, and doing some front-end work myself in the past, it was really good to have that kind of knowledge as well. But we had a hypothesis that running our courses, that there were other providers who needed an organizational tool. Flatiron, just having something that takes in payments, organises the teachers, all of the people who are taking the course, all the administrators, the venues, the times, the dates, all of that stuff in one. Turns out, after doing discovery research, this was about a year and a half ago, that is correct. After speaking to people from Flatiron, actually, speaking to people from General Assembly, Makers Academy, we concentrated on tech. Like, that was the thing. Because our core users that we saw were the teachers. And the teachers were generally part-time people who weren't doing it for money. They were doing it because they loved teaching. I've done it. You know, I did mentoring at General Assembly. Sorry, guys. I was waiting for a boo. It's all right. You guys weren't around when I did my course there. So the thing is that the teachers, they loved it, but they needed feedback to be able to improve themselves. That's what they wanted and needed, to be able to improve themselves and feel like they're actually making a difference. The administrators who were running the course couldn't find teachers because they're not going to have this kind of stuff on their LinkedIn profile. They're going to have like, oh, I'm a full-time senior UX designer, whatever, or developer or whatever. They're not going to have that as their kind of headline as teacher. So that's hard to find. It's hard to find teachers like that. So our concept was to create a feedback tool based on this admin back office system, which the APIs had already started being created. So, you know, and that would help us because our core need that we needed to have one place to administer everything. But the feedback tool would be the first step to kind of get to helping teachers get feedback and admins being able to find teachers through some kind of website of a directory or something. It was still kind of a concept. So the first step was coming up with this back office. That was quite a lot. I was scared about doing that because that's quite... So Genesis. Can anybody guess why my hat is on tonight? Oh yeah. If anybody's seen Eugene from Walking Dead, I've got that haircut right now. So anyway. So prototype created. So I created a prototype, got that tested. I'm glad you appreciated that. So I created a prototype, this back office system. It took me like a week, which in Balsamic, that's a long time. You know, because I threw together Balsamic prototypes in like 10 minutes. But this was so complex and lots of different things that we were like, okay, tested and validated with 15 users from there. So I did 3 rounds of testing. The prototype was looking great. I was really happy. So our concept did really well in discovery. So we were going down the right route. The prototype was great. We handed over to developers, and then it all went wrong. And it wasn't the developers' fault. The thing is, we were trying to do things lean. They wanted to break down all of this massive prototype into chunks. And because I had to go on to other projects, they were like, don't worry, we can sort this out. And I was like, all right then, you're lead developers, it's fine. They just couldn't get it. They couldn't get it. They couldn't see the wood for the trees because all they had was this massive forest and not like the branch that they wanted to develop first. They couldn't get there. So how do you show a user-centered system to people who can't see the wood for the trees? That's the problem I'm getting to. Sorry, so a lot of I love context. What can I say? So I created this. This is, if you're a UX designer and you've done any user flows, this is a user flow on steroids. So honestly, I did all that discovery research and then I did 3 rounds of testing. This came out of me in a day. It was like, I had this concept and it just came out and it was really satisfying. It was one of my favorite things I've ever done in terms of design. It's not, you show that to somebody and say, I'm a designer, and they're like, what, you're not? You just like shapes. So it utilises jobs to be done. So the thing is that what we've got here is 3 different flows. From the moment that an administrator says we're going to do a course, they set the date and whatnot, to the moment the course finishes. From the students to the teachers to the administrators, all of them are interacting with each other, and therefore we have to create product features to back that up. So let's get a little bit deeper. So we've got students, teachers, and administrators, okay? This is at the point where the students actually get involved. So at this point, the administrator has kind of got the venue sorted, they've got the teachers on board, everything's looking good, and then the students are starting to get in touch. So the student may well get in touch with the teacher to find out if the teacher is the right one for them to give them the kind of specialist knowledge that they're looking for. So therefore, these are all features that have to back up that, which basically is email functionality. Okay, so this is cool. Same thing. So once they're happy with that, yeah, we're happy, I'm going to take this course, the student may contact the administrator to say, I want to take this course. Again, it's an email functionality, but you see my point. It's products to support the different interactions and the different decisions that people make. And I went through this with my developer, and he was like, I see it now. I see, because like I'm going through each person's interactions and how they affect. So the prototype that he was trying to get his head around, he could imagine and empathize with each user and how they're going to go from A to B. That's the most simplified version of it, as I can and as you can tell, it's very hard to simplify a back office system. But this gave him the kind of empathy that he needed. It also gave him the kind of way to make it lean, to break it down. So we were able to see that this section here, going back to what the teachers needed, which was feedback, was this monstrosity here. And bear in mind, actually, I didn't say this is a vision of what could be. This is not the current situation, because there was no current situation. This is a vision. So we have the student, the teacher, and the administrator all doing all these decisions and affecting each other's things and all these products, all these features. He looked at that and said, that's going to take 2 years. And there's only 5 of us, and now working at Receipt Bank, that would have taken nearer 10, maybe 20 with 5 people. And I said, okay, that's fine. This is the point we went. This is what we needed. From here, we're able to create this, which is the MVP. So we were able to replace all of these features with things like Google Forms. Because at this point, we're able to prove what we're doing is the right way, and it also is the basic version of this, so we can scale from there. I hope that all makes sense. So we go back to the design onion. We're looking at the fact that we've got the administrator tool, which is the first thing that we were going to do, which was going to power the ecosystem, which was the back office tool, the website, there was going to be a directory of teachers, and then anything else from there. But those are the 2 kind of ecosystem parts. That was going to all power the service of giving access to teachers by our company, Lean.js, in tech education in Europe. And yeah, that's basically it. So, right. So relieved. So, to summarize, seemingly small and innocuous decisions can have enormous implications on any system that you're working in, all right? Any system. If you think that you're like, oh, I'm only doing this tiny little thing and it's not making a difference, it is. It's just sometimes can be hard to see it. Here's Nick Offerman eating an onion. UX, product, and service design are all essential parts of the same system. They're just different points of the onion. They're all affected by and from each other. I think that's right. And finally, you can make a real difference to the system, but you may have to search for that opportunity and also search for the results. So thank you very much.